Hey guys, I hope all is well. It's Tyler McClay here, Tyler McClay Realty Group, and I want to speak to something that's very prevalent in the market, okay? And they're talking about the big return. So everybody during COVID that left the core or the city of Toronto for more space, a backyard, maybe a pool, work from home, climate, there's a big push coming back to Toronto, okay? So why did people leave the city in the first place? COVID. So as a result of COVID, as we know, businesses had to shut down, restaurants, the amenities that we love and enjoy in being in dense communities evaporated. So the luxury of living downtown or any kind of city core evaporated because we had to stay home and there wasn't anywhere to go, nowhere to spend our money. There was a lot of unique factors at play, if you will. Okay, and now we're seeing a big push for people to come back. They realize my commute's too long. I'm being called back to the office. I want to walk to the Leaf game. I want to go for a beer with my coworkers after work. I want to be able to walk to get my milk, my eggs, my dry cleaning, and go to the gym. Right? We can't do that in some of these suburban communities as easily. So it's a trade-off, and we know this. But the city-centric model, there's a trade-off, price for distance, right? Distance from the core should get cheaper as we go. There's a massive opportunity in core Toronto right now to benefit from that trade-off because we're seeing the periphery has come down a lot more than the core. We know this in the last 6 to 9 months, coming out of COVID, increased interest rates. The biggest winners have now become the biggest losers, but the fundamentals that still exist to be in a city core, in a city center, they're still there. So that trade-off, that opportunity in terms of a trade-off, really does make a lot of sense to be investing and deploying capital in core Toronto, okay? There's less developable land, scarcity of that land. The amenities are already in place to enjoy in terms of transit, jobs, XYZ, everything's already here, and it's plug and play. We throw up a building and boom, everything's already there for us to enjoy versus one of these emerging markets where we're buying cheaper real estate, but it's cheaper for that reason because there's maybe a promise of job growth, post-secondary education, what have you, but it's just not even close. It's not nearly on the same level or a similar caliber of opportunity or market, okay? Toronto core is a melting pot of ethnicities and multiculturalism. We have the job growth and the employment to support the cost of living, okay? We've got the transit at our doorstep. We have every amenity imaginable. We are represented on the global stage, internationally renowned, where other countries are taking notice of the incredible opportunity that we have here in Toronto. And I don't know if anybody's seen the graph, but if you Google it, I'll see if I can throw it up here when I edit this video. I'll try to put it right here. Let's see if it works when I post the video. But there's a graph, there's a chart, there's a map that shows that 50% of the Canadian population lives below a certain line. And that line, it's staggering, really, when you look at it. 50% of the population lives in what is essentially Southern Ontario. And why? Because of a lot of the reasons that I mentioned previously, right? The jobs, the opportunities, the investment potential, the amenities that come with living in a global city, the potential that's here, the quality of life, the enjoyment. There's a number of reasons. So just back to this Toronto Life article, the reasons people left and wanted a backyard and wanted a pool and wanted to be further away is because we had opportunities to work from home in a condo or a downtown space. We didn't have the amenities that come with the vicinity to said amenities. And we didn't have a backyard. We didn't have anywhere to go. We didn't have anything to do. So we wanted to create that in our own home, within our own walls. Home office space, value went up. Pools, value went up. Any kind of home renovations, they got more expensive because everybody was doing it. Everybody wanted to do it. And as humans, psychologically, we have a very short, not memory, but forecast. We have a very tough ability to forecast and think in the long term. Naturally, we think in the short term. What's happening now? What do I need now? But if we can extrapolate and think longer term in terms of what's coming to our market, what opportunities are going to exist in the next 2 to 5 years in our market, and the sustainability and resiliency of our Toronto market, man, there's opportunity to be had. And as far as I'm concerned and our team is concerned, from our independent research and fact checking, it's opportunity. It's opportunity. This is what we do day in, day out. We see the market. We see what's happening out there on the ground. Don't let some media headlines pigeonhole you into one frame of mind, or looking at one lens or one stat and letting that blanket your view of the overall market. There's so many factors at play. And one of the examples I use with my team, and they make fun of me, is it's like a stew. If you're making a stew, I could use so many examples of cake or something more fancy, but a stew is made up and comprised of so many different ingredients. If you just threw beans in a bowl, that's not stew. That's one ingredient. That's one piece of the dish. There's beans, there's broth, there's meat, there's rice. I don't know, I'm not a chef. I'm a phenomenal realtor. But that being said, I hope you get the point that I'm trying to make. If we look at one stat, it could take us this way. If we look at another stat, it could take us this way. If we identify only and focus on high interest rates, oh, the market's in trouble. If we focus and only look at the whopping immigration numbers that we have coming and the quality of our post-secondary education, whoo, the market's gonna go nuts. So we have to massage all of these factors influencing pricing in our market and come to a realistic conclusion of what's to come. Real estate is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Okay, and COVID kind of spoiled us for a little bit, and we kind of had we had things pretty good for a while. People would be buying a pre-con and flip it for 100,000 more in a year because the market was going up for good reason at a very rapid rate. Now we've got to get back to the fundamentals. What makes sense? What makes a good investment? What makes a positive, healthy real estate market? Toronto's got a lot of the fixings for a quality real estate market, positive outlook. Things are looking pretty good, and the pre-COVID density was the topic of conversation. There was people moving from suburbia and further out into the core. A lot of immigration, a lot of migration as well, because that's where the jobs are, the education is, the opportunities are, and the quality of life is. So that being said, now that this COVID blip has come and gone, we get back to basics, we get back to fundamentals, and we see that increased density in city cores across Ontario, across the world, really, throughout the globe, we see this trend. But Toronto specifically is so special because in Canada, in the Canadian market, we really don't have many options, right? Take an accountant, for example. You want to be an accountant or an engineer, some kind of professional. You go to the US, Boston, New York, New Jersey, Knoxville, Tennessee, Salt Lake City, Utah, Miami. I could go on and on, Tucson, Arizona. I could go on and on and on and on and on, Chicago. Major markets where there's employment opportunities and city centers. In Canada, really, you've just got Toronto. You could argue Vancouver, but doesn't compare. It's a much smaller market and different culture. Montreal is limited by the language. East Coast is what it is, and then you've got the middle of Canada, Alberta, and for pricing, people like cheaper real estate, and the value's there. If it makes sense for you, great. There are some opportunities there, but you got to be careful. But really, Canada is special. Toronto is special because it's so uniquely positioned in our Canadian market. So anyway, just some thoughts to consider. I like to ramble, as you know. I like to talk real estate. So if you ever have any questions, please follow, like, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. Stay in tune. We're going to be cranking out a lot more content, a lot more videos. But basically, for all the reasons I mentioned and many, many more, downtown core Toronto seems to be a very unique and positive opportunity for real estate investment now and into the future. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the video. Share with your friends, share with your family. I know it's a little long, I can ramble, but value is value. So thanks very much for spending 9 minutes of your life with me. And like, subscribe, follow us, guys. We love all things real estate. So have a great day. Have a great year. Happy 2023.